Good afternoon, everybody. It is Meteorologist 812 Forecast here, and welcome back to the video. My dog's actually with me right now, so if you guys hear like a little movement in the background, it's just my dog. So I apologize if you guys hear it. But guys, as you can tell, we are gonna be looking at who can be seeing the snowiest fall. 2 days ago, on Sunday, I believe so. On Sunday, we did do who will have the coldest fall. So now we're gonna be doing who will have the snowiest fall. So if you guys want to know if you have a cold fall and have not checked out the video on Sunday, go ahead and check that out too. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,700 by the end of this month. And also be free to spread the word of my channel. And also be sure to like the video if you liked this video and like the idea of this video. So if you guys want to know if you will have a snowy a snowy fall, and just basically see exactly what the Enzo outlook is showing, that'll come right up. So as you can tell, we are going to be looking at the Enzo summary at first. If you guys don't know what the Enzo outlook is, it is this big this website here that does let you know if it's a neutral. Again, it is a big name here in the weather area. So we actually do have a neutral right now. It actually is current. So for those people who checked these videos last month, we did actually have an El Nino. We had a very weak El Nino, but now we actually have a neutral. So we have neutral conditions as expected to come. So basically, we are seeing equatorial sea surface temperatures are above average across the western and central Pacific Ocean and are below average in eastern Pacific. Not only do we have below average temperatures in the eastern Pacific, we also have below average temperatures in the central, but mostly in the eastern Pacific. So basically, we are seeing an Enzo neutral is most likely to continue through the northern hemisphere winter 2019-2020 with a 50 to 55% chance. So basically, there's a very, very, very high chance for it to continue through the fall season, which is next month, basically. So it really shouldn't change that much, but we are going to be focusing to see if it could stay into the northern hemisphere for the winter months. So basically, what we are basically based off of what our forecasts are based off. So who will see the snowiest winter and all those fall and winter relatives. That's all based on this Enzo outlook, and if it's going to be a neutral, because these maps will be completely different if it was La Nina and El Nino. So now we looked at that. We are going to be looking at the probability of these events occurring. First, let's read the statement up there at the top. It says Enzo neutral is most likely to continue through the northern hemisphere winter 2019-2020. So again, it's basically just exactly what we read in the summary, but it's just repeating it. So for those people who really do not know what probability means, because I have a lot of young viewers that have not gone through algebra yet and all of those things. So basically, the probability is the percent or the chance of an event occurring. So when you guys say 100% chance, there's a 100% chance of this happening, or 20% chance of that happening. With that, you guys all said that without knowing there's another word called probability. So again, we have a 100% chance here, 50% chance here, and 0% chance. Again, we have the numbers in between those. And we have three colors in all the three bars. So for the blue, that is for La Nina forecast probability. And the gray, we do have a neutral forecast probability, and in the red, we have an El Nino forecast probability here. So basically, if you guys are wondering what this chart or how it's organized is, we have these model names here, or just the model, so the ASO, the JAS, the SON, or sun. So these are the forecast, the models, and then this is them showing what the percent of they think of these events are occurring. So I'm going to be focusing on the first one, which is the blue bars. And the blue bars are the lowest bars out of all the models. They are the lowest bars in the... so basically, they only have a 15% chance at most of occurring, which is pretty low. So La Nina, if you guys are saying, oh, it can possibly become La Nina in the winter, guys, it's a very, very low chance of that actually happening. So I would say it's going to be most of a neutral, because honestly, it's only... the DJF are only showing a 15% chance, and that's only the highest. We have some that show 5% chance or 10% chance. So now we see the red color. That's actually the second, that has the second biggest probability, and that is a El Nino. The El Nino probabilities forecast models have actually gone down a lot. We only have the highest number will be actually a 30% chance. The highest one was actually a 48 with the JAS. but the JS did show it go down. So we actually have about, let's go with 80% of the models that show El Nino, or the forecasting El Nino, so 30% chance. 30% chance isn't really incredibly low, but it's actually not really high at all. El Nino could have a 30% chance again possibly occurring in the winter months. And now we have the gray color, which is a neutral, and of course you can see those bars are incredibly high. Every single model does show the forecast for a neutral, the high. So we have every single model shows more than 15% chance, and we actually have the JS forecasting about 68% chance, which is pretty high. So now we're going to be looking at the forecast models here. So if you guys see these numbers right here and confused exactly what this is, first I'm going to be explaining what's occurring here. So these all these lines in different colors here, all these colors are colors for exactly what the models are showing here. So we have some these models here, and then these are the ONIs here. So we have the positive ONI, which is right here, and then we have the negative ONI, which is down in here. If you guys are wondering what this is, these models are all forecasting what they think could happen in El Nino, neutral, or La Nina. So anything above 0.5 Celsius is a El Nino. That line is not incredibly good. I'm going to somewhat try to draw this line right here. So anything above this line is a El Nino. So this is a positive ONI here. And then anything below this is a La Nina. And anything between these black lines is a neutral. So as you can tell, we have a good amount of models showing a neutral, which is from positive 0.5 Celsius to negative 0.5 Celsius. Again, these lines are not the best, I know, but anything in between these are actually a neutral. So we have actually a lot of models showing that, especially these areas in like the about 0.4 Celsius or 0.5 Celsius there. And then we also have these models showing El Nino too. So it's about maybe a 30% chance El Nino, and then we kind of somewhat have a 70% chance for a neutral. So again, it is very favored to have a neutral, but the El Nino is still not out of the picture. Now we're going to be looking at the water analysis here. This is new data right here. Again, anything above this is a El Nino or above average, or anything below this is below average or La Nina. And then we have this, let me try to get that here. Anything in between here is a neutral or average, however you want to say it. So as you can tell, we have a lot of warm temperatures right here. Like it says there in the description, we have warmer waters for the western and central Pacific, especially for the central Pacific here, right here. This huge chunk of warm water is basically the big one that's really making this a basically that was the only reason why we had El Nino. But the only reason why we have a neutral is because of this right here. This is the only reason why we have a neutral and not a El Nino. There's huge area of blue colors, which is below average, and it's pretty big. It's actually spilling out into the central Pacific right here. It's spilling out into the central Pacific. So that's why it's in the beginning. It's also in the central Pacific. These let me try to draw this again. This area of cold water actually is somewhat normal in a El Nino. If we had these cold waters right here and warm waters right here, if we had warm waters right here and the cold waters here, that would actually be a El Nino. The only reason why we do have a neutral, though, is because of this. Let me try to move this. Sorry, guys. This is something. Try to move that here. So, again, we have this huge area in the eastern and central Pacific with cold. And then we have the western and central Pacific with warm. And then again, we actually have a huge area with white here with average. We are seeing a lot more areas that become average here. And we could potentially see some colder waters out here into the northern Pacific that could potentially bring in some more widespread into the western Pacific. So that's basically what's happening right now. Now we're going to be looking at what El Nino pattern does bring to the United States, because I know some of you guys don't know exactly what El Nino still is right now and what it brings to the United States. So basically what El Nino does, it brings this subtropical jet stream through the southern part of the United States and the Gulf of Mexico. So again, it brings that tropical, subtropical conditions. But it's not going to be like those subtropical conditions, meaning those 80s and 90s. It's actually going to bring in some very wet conditions for the southwest of the United States here. And we also have this cooler blob here into the south central and the southeast, guys. So again, it does bring in very cool conditions. And again, El Nino is mostly favored to bring in snow and cold for the deep south, so southern Texas, Louisiana, southern Mississippi, because again, usually the southeast, like northern Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, usually those get snow every single year. But again, it just depends if it's El Nino, neutral, and La Nina. It depends the totals on that, but they usually get snow every year. But when if you're in the deep south, you really only get snow for a El Nino. So again, you could have a cool air and very snowy conditions, and then we have those wet conditions. So if you're in the southwest and you're tired of that dry conditions, you're really gonna want a El Nino for a winter. And then again, it does bring in the opposite conditions, brings in a low pressure system that brings in some very warm conditions for the northern part of the United States, the Midwest, and Pacific Northwest. So if you're in the red, you can see warm, and again, it says warm right there. And then it also does bring in dry conditions for the Ohio Valley. Last thing we're to be looking at before my forecast is La Nina pattern. It's somewhat kind of covered here. Let me try to move it. I really want you guys to be like, what does that say? So what La Nina does bring is brings in the opposite conditions than a El Nino. It brings in very dry conditions for the south central and the southeast. So if you're in this area in the what's it called, the orange, you'll be seeing dry conditions. It's like, what do you mean? It's like right here and it says it's dry. So if you're in that light orange, you will see less precipitation than normal, including snow for those areas that get snow in the orange. And then we do have that area in the red that does bring in warm conditions now. So that's actually for the deep south and the southeast and the southern tip of Texas. It does bring in a high pressure system right here, which does bring in those polar jet streams more into the United States here. So again, you can see it does those Canada blasts does come into the United States more often, La Nina, and we do have that bringing very cold air. When I mean more cold blasts, I mean for the northern plains, because again with the El Nino we have a lot for the south. But if you're in the blue, so the Dakotas, Minnesota, and the Montana area, you'll be seeing cooler conditions. And that would also bring in some wet conditions for the Pacific Northwest and the Ohio Valley and Tennessee area. So now that we looked at that, let's look at my forecast before. Let me just move that a little bit more down. So here is my forecast here. So we're going to be looking at who will have the snowiest winter, and I'll be explaining these colors later on. But if you are in this dark blue right here, so this dark blue, you'll be seeing a snowy fall. Again, guys, it's not super down here because a lot of these areas that are non the color don't usually see snow in the fall. You could possibly, I just don't want to get you guys excited. So if you're in the dark blue, you can actually see a snowy fall. So that's all the way from Montana, Idaho, parts of southern Wyoming, Utah. It can actually go into northern New Mexico because, we can actually have some snow in the fall for New Mexico and Texas. The northern Texas area, we usually do see some November snow, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have more into November for northern Oklahoma, maybe northern Arkansas into the most northern part of Tennessee, and I think we should have some more snow there into northern North Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, and that actually slightly goes into Delaware. And then that's basically what it's looking like. Now in the purple, we can have a very snowy fall here based on average. Again, not on every single state, but based on average, how much snow you're going to fall. So that'll be coming for central Montana, most of Wyoming, much of Colorado, Denver, for Kansas, parts of all the way to St. Louis, southern Illinois through much of Indiana, northern Kentucky. You can actually see a very snowy fall. For parts of much of Virginia, the Washington, D.C. area, you can see some snow. And then it would cut off here for much of Maryland. And then northern part of Delaware, which is right here. You guys will be seeing that purple. And then that should be there for much of the Northeast. Again, for Michigan, northern Wisconsin. Basically, just look for your county. And then once you find your county, look for your city. And then see what color. And that's the easiest way instead of me saying every state that's in there. And then if you're in the pink color, that's where you'll be seeing the snowiest snowiest fall. I always say winter. So if you're in this area right here, you'll be seeing the snowiest fall. So for parts of Wisconsin, for parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, the very small part of North Dakota there, much Nebraska, northern Missouri, and to the Illinois area, and to northern Indiana and parts of Michigan. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope this helps you, helps out with what to expect this fall. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and bye.